Hope 1.1. Hidden Assets. Among the topics of study on young people before they enter the job market as calculation, change and movement, during training in calculus is certainly important. I hope the training is also important. It is, as well as the problems of your car at some point in time to deal with the problem. It is important to find out what motivates people to give up their offer to us. Ironically, Leibniz is one of the inventors of calculus. He is considered an inveterate optimist, confirmation that we live in the best of possible worlds. Hope emotional skills that will help you increase productivity. I hope to write about, will face the risk of being seen as a recommendation of Pollyanna or quixotic. The truth, however, is the hope of proving sustainability to life and gives you a competitive edge in your career for you. There is much to do, in fact, promoting a confident approach. Take the lead, for example. Hope is more important than institutions before. Effective leaders are changing impact on their constituents. They are the gift that others will be able to convince them that the ability to achieve levels of knowledge beyond what you thought possible. They are able to paint a rosy picture for the future and accessible to his followers. They move others to be stuck with how things are done in this area and help them to see how he could make things better. In Leadership Advantage, a test of the Drucker Foundation Leader to Leader Guide, Warren Dennis, 2013, tells us that optimism is one of the most important things that people need their leaders to achieve positive results. I met a superb leader, Dennis writes. It's not what seems to be an unnecessary degree hope, and that helps produce energy and commitment necessary to achieve results. Mind Tools, 2013. Along with Consider the Reverse, a single person can have an impact on organizational creativity and innovation. Pessimistic. To be innovative, you have to be open to new ideas, the process, risk-taker, product solutions or new or improved processes. In short, you must have a sense of adventure and hope to succeed. Those who are pessimistic attitude usually change the status quo for the information, we do this before, will not work or will not fly. These individuals often label themselves as devil's advocate. How can one have a pessimistic attitude change with respect to information security? Optimism will be positively affected other areas. Take sales, for example, a study of new sales staff to sell the Metropolitan Life who scored high-test optimism life insurance over 37% in the first 2 years than pessimists, Seligman, 1990. In another study, involving debt collectors in a large collection agency had significantly higher scores on self-realization, independence and hope that collectors most successful, Bachman et al., 2000, were identified by Carrie Chernis, Mind Tools, 2013. Perhaps most significant are numerous studies have shown that people with a healthy relationship optimistic enjoy better mental and physical health and live longer. In The Wisdom of the Ego, and Dr. George Valiant, professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School, writing to people who have much abilities to be bent without breaking an ability, and bent to go back. Valiant mentioned, and resistant to external sources, such as health or social support is good, internal sources are important people, including healthy self-esteem and hope. Mechanisms to deal fully explored in a book on Dr. Valiant later, Healthy Aging, Frame Amazing Happy Life, a large study very interesting for other boomers. This is a summary of 3 studies involving more than 800 people, men and women, rich and poor, will continues for more than 50 years, from adolescence to old age. In it, we know that one of the most powerful predictors of successful aging using mechanisms normally deal or mature defenses, which Valiant calls the possibility of making lemonade from lemons. Life Find Valiant study of the 5 major mechanisms: altruism, do to others what they need, not what they want; sublimation, redirected energy to bring more constructive and creativity; art, sports, prevention, west of tension not stopped, humor and forecasting. Anticipating is realistic, optimistic about future planning. This means that emergency action is pessimistic, but to prepare and adapt to whatever life brings. So identifies as an optimist? Studied by Alan Loy McGuinness, author of The Power of Hope, the biographies of more than 1,000 celebrities and isolated 12 personality traits of optimism. These include, optimist partially resolved, that is, free from the tyranny of perfectionism and paralysis by analysis, are vulnerable to small steps to achieve success. Another feature is the nature of who is optimistic. Optimists use their imagination to succeed. In other words, they play a positive mental videos the best results, as well as many sports figures. Michael Jordan, for example, once said that he never played a game does not begin to imagine. Another feature is that optimists believe that is a great resource for the extension, believe that their personal best is yet to come. Mind Tools, 2013. And Dr. Martin Seligman, the modern scholar most often associated with the study of the characteristics optimistic, and former president of the American Psychological Association and professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania, spent many years studying people optimistic and tells 3 common characteristics. They see their lives as misfortune temporary, specific and external. That is not entirely to blame, compared to pessimists who see adversity constant, pervasive, and more personal. Given the difficulties, challenges or difficult tasks are more likely to do worse than the expected, and even pessimistic optimist persevered. I hope, therefore, also an important element to achieve and disorder is important, change and excitement all the time. Those who are optimistic will roll with punches, more proactive and persistent and not give up hope. So when optimism comes from? It is something that is born or learned. For some lucky people, the optimism comes naturally. The good news, for those who do not, of course, hope you can learn the attitude and practice. Here are some strategies that you can find on your journey to become more positive to help others who suffer from pessimism. 1. Avoid negative environments. If this is not realistic, make every effort to seek the company of positive people within your organization. Sometimes this can mean to fraternize with colleagues from other departments. Stay away from the claimant professional. 2. Celebrates its forces. The key is to achieve high and happiness, play out their strengths, their weaknesses right. Focus on what you do well. 3. Take care of your spiritual and emotional content is good inspirational read daily. This can be different for each person. Some may be motivated by contributions daily, others to read biographies of successful people in your field, and still others can be inspired by reading about the new things that are awarded. This website is useful for the World Future Society, which keeps up with new inventions. 4. Manage or ignore what cannot be changed. When facing difficulties, identify what you can change and proactively look for ways to do something about finding. We have often heard the advice, you again. Be inspired by the words of Benjamin Franklin, while we are not able to control everything that happens to us, we can control what happens inside us. 5. Learn to reframe. This applies to any business coming in and looking at the bright side hidden in a negative situation, proverbial silver lining. Look for this in adversity. If you are serious about developing more hope, no better than any book learned Optimism, How to Change Your Mind and Your Life by Dr. Martin E. Seligman. Dr. Seligman model of CDE learns to oppose pessimistic thoughts. This tool is useful and powerful to help change the way events clarification difficulty optimistic to pessimistic. 6. Personalize your language and attitude. Consider how a simple change in the language that you use to make a difference in your attitude. You say, yes, but in response to the recommendations for component, the but automatically nullifies anything this early in the sentence. Enable a simple change of yes, and to make a positive difference. Look at the email later. Calculate the ratio of negative to positive words. It may be instructive. 7. Be aware of your position in business meetings. You are known as devil's advocate on the largest, quick to tear down other people's ideas. Being able to go very fast to derail the process of creative thinking. Ideas are often valuable, show thinking silly. Meetings, but does not have the word, we are under a magnifying glass. Practice being more optimistic, speaking last year, and see what happens. 8. Focus outside yourself, the important people in your life, the events and projects that fire up. Bertrand Russell once said that the fastest way for us that will just focus on ourselves. It was his love of mathematics that will keep